Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. Welcome to this flow yoga practice. If we haven't met before, my name is Sam, and in today's flow yoga practice, we're going to work to just feel our way into our bodies. We are going to spend some time in balance. There'll be lots of opportunities to reach back and catch hold of the ankle, trying to get comfortable being uncomfortable and just using the breath to guide the body. If you have a prop, it will come in handy, but if you don't have one, you just have to reach a little further towards the floor, which is completely fine. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please, if you could just click that button, it'll just take 1 second, and even like the video. Before you even practice it, just assume you're going to enjoy it and give it a like. Other than that, we'll get right into it. So beginning today's practice in child's pose, taking 2 big toes to touch, separating the knees, and the intention here is just to get heavy. Let yourself get low towards the floor. I find that the action of resting the brow down, or the skin just between the brows, onto the mat with the eyes softened shut, really gives this sensation of grounding. As our head is nice and close towards our body, you'll be able to hear your breath a little more. And you'll begin to gauge an understanding on whether that breath is traveling freely, whether you're able to breathe fully, or if the breath needs a little more attention. From here, coming up onto hands and knees, letting your hands travel a little further out in front of the shoulders, and tucking the toes under. Little modified cow-cat. If we've practiced together before, you would have done these. We're going to send the hips forwards and down, try to keep the arms straight. You might take a little bend in the elbows just to pull the shoulder heads back, and then re-straighten the arms there. Breathe in. At the exhale, send the hips back towards the heels. Try to keep the toes tucked under. If you can, you may need to bring your feet a little closer towards each other. Then we reset. Inhale brings us forwards, hips drop, chest lifts. Exhale, hips move back, toes stay tucked, we press with the palms. One more time, inhale, roll forwards. Maybe this time the knees hover off the mat, little modified upward facing dog. As you exhale to send the hips back, maybe you hover the knees, really pressing through the palms. And finding a plank position, adjusting if you need to, shuffle the feet back, shoulders stack above the wrist, lots of pressing. So you're pushing away from the floor. The thumbs are hugging towards each other, helping to activate the chest. And you keep everything that is facing the floor, trying to resist gravity, so pushing away. Little grip through the fingers. Going to be here just for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Curl the right knee in towards the nose, lift high on the left toes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we'll set the right knee down. From there, look back, soften the left foot flat, we'll reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. A little modified Ardha Chandrasana, or a half moon pose. Keeping the right toes tucked under is going to give you a little more stability there. If you feel comfortable, you can shuffle the right hand out a little further in front, lift the left leg off the mat. Try to flex the foot, stamp the heel back behind you. Feel the glutes firm and the hips press forward first. But if you feel yourself coming to too much of a back bend, use an exhale. Draw the navel in, come back towards your center. If we feel comfortable, squeezing left heel in towards the bottom, reaching the left arm back, catching hold of the ankle. And then we kick the shin away from the body to bow open the front of the body. Now we do come to more of a back bend there. Embrace the wobbles. Embrace the shaking always. Take an in breath. Exhale, knee draws in towards the forehead. Keep hold of the ankle if you can. So get small, get small, get small. Maybe you can headbutt your knee for a moment, and then we'll come to hands and knees. Rinsing out between sides with one round of cow and cat. Softening the belly, pulling the chest forwards, lifting the gaze as you breathe in. In the exhale, find the opposite. Tailbone tucks, we press through the hands, draw the chin towards the chest. Your knees rise off the mat, we find the plank, and like we did, different side. Left knee squeezes in towards the nose, lift high on the right toes. And then soften the left knee down, right foot sets flat. You start to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. As best you can, trying to keep your left shin parallel with the front edge of the mat. That's going to give you a little more opening through the inner left thigh. Embrace the space. If you have a little more, you walk the left hand out a little further, lift the right leg off the mat, flex the toes towards you, press the heel back behind you. Feel glutes firming, hips pressing forwards, and then use an exhale to draw the front ribs in. So you're finding almost Tadasana in that body. If there's space, right heel squeezes in, you reach back, search for the ankle. If it's there, kick it away from you. Keep the foot active, foot flexing, spreading the toes wide. Again, embracing all the wiggles. They're going to be there. Maybe they go sometimes, but they're always poking their head around the corner. Don't you worry. Last inhale. From here, keep hold of the ankle. Try to draw right knee in towards the nose or the forehead. Keep pressing through the left hand. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we find all fours again. Nice work. Get the balance out of the way. Nice and early. One round of cow cat. Inhale. Exhale. Tuck the toes from here. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Do whatever you need to do on this first down dog. Pedal through feet. And we'll take a breath together. Long inhale. Gentle breath out. From here, we'll walk hands back towards the feet, coming towards a forward fold. Fingertips just in front of the feet. Bend the knees a little as you halfway lift. Breathe in. Exhale to fold forwards. 2 more times. Inhale, we lift halfway. Maybe legs get a little straighter. Exhale, we fold. 1 more time like that. Inhale to lift. Maybe legs get a little straighter. If the big toes are there, catch hold of them with the first 2 fingers. Lengthen the chest forwards a little more. As you exhale, bend the elbows to pull yourself down. An active pull. So biceps are flexing. Shoulder blades are depressing as you pull yourself down over the length of the thighs. Release the toes. Halfway lift the in-breath. Feet stay where they are. We walk the hands towards the top. Downward facing dog. When we get there, lift the right leg up nice and high as you breathe in. Try to keep the foot flexing and those hips nice and square. Exhale, right knee's going to draw to nose. So you roll forward. Maybe it finds the forehead again. Shoulders stack above the wrists. Then inhale, we lift it back up. Exhale, knee finds forehead or nose again. We roll forwards. This time we step the right foot between the hands. Back heel stays lifting. We'll come on up. Find a crescent lunge. So find buoyancy by lifting back heel and bending back knee to start with. Reaching arms overhead. Create a little pistol-like grip with the hands. And try to take the arms behind the biceps. Bending elbows first if you need to. A little more depth through the front right thigh. A little more length through the back left leg. You just breathe into the opening. Long inhale. Gentle breath out. From here, circle hands down towards the mat. Left foot's going to step up to meet the right, we find a fold. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, we bow down. And come all the way up through standing. And inhale, we'll reach the arms overhead. And exhale, we'll draw the hands through center. We let the breath guide the body. We keep our first intention or our main priority on the breath. And we let the body follow. Be guided by the sound and the feel of your breath. Inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, we dive forwards. Halfway lift as you breathe in. From here, step your left leg back first, followed by the right to find a plank pose. Everything facing the floor is resisting gravity. And then we take a push-up, elbows bent till the chest touches the floor. And then we press straight back up before lowering to the ground and pulling through Buljangasana, Cobra Pose. The back of the neck is lifting to the ceiling rather than the chin to the front of the room. The feet are pressing down rather than floating as the knees lift off the mat. Breathe in. Exhale, drop the head. Toes tuck. We press up and back to downward facing dog. Left leg to ceiling as you breathe in. Hips are square, climb high on the right toes. Take another breath in. Then exhale, knee to nose or forehead. Roll forwards. Connect. And then the legs back up. Breathe in. Exhale, knee through forehead or nose again. Then connect. This time left foot lands. We rise back up. Again, buoyancy by bending back knee, lifting back heel, finding that pistol-like grip. Biceps behind the ears if we can manage it. Arms nice and straight. And we deepen the front thigh, we lengthen the back leg out. Take a full breath. Then hands find the mat. We step right foot up to meet the left. Halfway lift your in-breath, length through spine. Exhale, diving forward, drop the head. Then climb up through standing, palms meet above the head, we look up. Exhale, we draw through center. Beginning again, inhale to climb. Exhale to dive over the thighs. Lengthening from crown of head to tailbone as you breathe in. This time, right leg steps back first, followed by the left. You come through your plank, and you best believe we're taking that press up, chest to floor, and then on the mat, Buljangasana, tops of feet ground, lift the chest, breathe in. Exhale, drop the head, press up, and back to downward facing dog. Giving yourself a couple of moments here. Find your stability. Get any dust out of your eyeballs you may have, or perhaps that's just me. Whatever you need to do to find stability, to find a sense of stillness. And you take it now. So we're going to work a little bit of strength here in a moment. Remember, always the breath is guiding you. There will be a few push-ups, so if you want to use your knees, you can absolutely use your knees. From the downward facing dog position, inhale lifts the heels. We roll forwards through a plank. Exhale, we lower and lift through the push-up, and come back to downward facing dog. Nice work. Just like that, but 4 more times. Inhale, the heels rise. We roll forwards. Exhale, we lower and lift, and press back to downward facing dog. We have 3 more. Inhale, heels rise, roll forwards. Exhale, lower and lift. 2 more times. Inhale, lift, heels, roll forwards. Exhale, lower and lift. Last one. Inhale, heels rise. We roll, roll, roll. Exhale, we lower, we lift. We come back to downward facing dog. We walk the feet 1 step closer. We lift the heels high. We drop the knees. Set the forearms down onto the mat. Interlace the fingers or press the palms together as long as there's activity. Biceps, triceps flexing. Push away from the floor. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips. Hang out in dolphin pose. Be stationary. We won't be here for long, I promise you. Flex the biceps. You push away from the floor. You just be there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees down. Keep the hips stacked above the knees as best you can. Walk the arms out in front of you to lower your chest down. As always, if shoulders are tight, take the arms wider, bend the elbows for a little more support, a little more relief there through the shoulders. And sometimes it's quite nice to take a lighter option, just being kind to the body. Last breath. From here, we're going to make our way down onto the belly. If you're like me and you're already falling off the edge of your mat, you might need to shift backwards. Otherwise, you can just roll forwards onto the belly and we'll come through Sphinx Pose. So, setting elbows down under the shoulders, rolling shoulder blades back, lifting the chest. Finding Cobra pose in the legs, pressing feet down to lift the knees so you know the legs are active. I'm going to work a little bit of unilateral work here. So this right forearm, it's going to start to move over towards the left-hand side. Then you'll come onto the left fingertips to look back over the left shoulder. You squeeze the left heel in towards the bottom. Reach back, see if you can catch the outside of the ankle. And once you're there, you kick the shin back into the hand. Look forwards. Right leg starts to rise. Right arm starts to rise. You're kicking the left shin away from you to lift the knee off the floor. You're fanning the right toes out wide so they reach to the back of the room. Right arm's reaching forward, gaze is down just off the top edge of the mat. This unilateral work always feels a little uncomfortable because we're not doing the same thing on either side. That is the intention. Can you breathe in? Lift everything higher. We're here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Little moment to do nothing. And then we come through Sphinx Pose and we reset. So you get the chest lifted first, press the feet down to lift the knees. Then this time left forearm moves off towards the right, right fingertips press down. You look back over the right shoulder, squeeze the right heel in, see if you can find the outside of the ankle. Kick the shin back behind you, feel your left leg rise, and then reach your left arm out in front of you. Just be there in the space, keep resisting the legs backwards, reaching that left arm forwards, crown of head to the front wall of the room. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh goodness, I find that one so tough. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you too found that one challenging. Little bend up through the knees. Let the legs rock from side to side. But let me know after the practice. We'll finish first. What do you reckon? And then pressing through Child's Pose, where we began our practice. A little more intention of lengthening through the low back here. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. You keep your block handy because we're going to use it here in a moment. So you just slide it a little closer towards you, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises, up and back. Exhale, knee pulls through forehead or nose. See if they can touch. This time step the right foot between the hands. Block's going to go outside the right foot. Back heel drops down, sit deep in the right thigh, and windmill the left arm up and overhead to meet in Warrior 2. Lots of space, lots of length, lots of depth. Keep the legs active, energetically hugging in towards each other. Inner thighs and hamstrings become a bit more active. And you drive through the ball of the right foot, ball joint of the right big toe, I should say. Press to lift the quads. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. So you push down through that right foot to flex the quad and feel the knee lift. I was a little unclear there. Take a breath. And exhale. You reach forwards. As you do, left hip's going to wrap in a little. Keep going forwards. And then reach down to find your block, setting up for Trikonasana, or triangle pose. So you might not need the block on the highest height, but if you can get comfortable pressing against it, it's going to help us later on. Still having ball joint of right big toe grounding, ball joint of left pinky toe grounding. Firm the glutes to feel the hips pressing forwards, but if you feel like you're coming to a back bend, use an exhale to draw the front ribs in. Find Tadasana as best you can. Take a long inhale. Left hand's going to find the hip. This is my favorite part. I'm going to rebend the right knee, shuffle the left foot up just a few paces, and then you reach the block out in front of you. So if you're running out of mat like me, shift yourself backwards. Block moves out in front, lean forwards, lift the back left leg. Now right toe stay facing forward. You want to pivot to roll open this right hip. Left hip stacks on top. You flex the left toes towards the face, and if you feel the left shoulder stack on top of the right, we follow with the left arm up. You want to feel energetically like you're pulling the block to the back of the mat to lengthen through the right-hand side of the body, keeping the gaze fixed on one point, either choosing to stay here or squeezing left heel towards the bottom, reaching back with the left hand, searching for the ankle. If you've got hold of it, like we did when we're resting on the knee, you kick the shin back behind you to bow open the front of the body. One last full breath. Now here's the fun part. If you've got the ankle, keep hold of it. You're going to bring the left knee in towards the forehead or the nose, just like we did at the start of practice. Boop. And then you land the feet down. My goodness, we fold. Pedal out through the feet. That was a little bit of a disaster for me. Maybe you got it a little better. Just know we get to play with it on the opposite side a little later on. So if it wasn't quite a success, that's okay. We get another attempt. I'm going to come out through standing here. I'm going to begin to stand on our left foot. The right knee is going to draw in towards the chest, so bring the hands to the hips for a moment. Finding a focal point out in front of you, then weighting the left foot, right knee draws into chest. You're going to grab the big toe with the peace fingers, just like we did in that forward fold at the beginning of practice. Stand taller in the left leg, the shoulder blades descend, then extend the right leg out in front of you. If you can, descend the right hip a little bit, pull the right shoulder back. Then with control, right leg opens to the right-hand side of the room, left arm to the left-hand side of the room. Keep your gaze steady, your chest proud. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Right leg returns to center. Cross the right ankle on the left thigh. Reach the arms out in front. Sit into a single leg chair. Trust the depth of the left leg. The right foot flexing. Spread the toes. Arms reach out in front. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press back up. Let everything release. Nice work. Shake it all out. Energy is starting to shift. Heart rate starting to build. We try and slow it down. We come back to our breath. Long inhale. Gentle breath out. Then arms climb above us as we breathe in. Exhale, we fold over the thighs. We lift the chest halfway as we breathe in. And then we step the left leg back. We drop the back knee and start to shuffle the right foot over towards the left-hand side of the mat. You're going to prepare for Pigeon Pose. So you want to feel the pelvis moving backwards. You want to try to keep the hips square, so right hip just as high as the left. Then you can maybe come down onto the forearms first. We want to move away from putting pressure on the knee, so we keep tucking under the left toes and trying to deliver the left leg a little further backwards. And we want to find somewhere to rest the head if we can. So if the block's there, you could rest your head on the block. So it's a moving posture as well as a static posture. You're working to find more depth and more space the longer you're here. It takes time to release. It takes time to surrender. So you honor the journey. Take one last breath. And walk the hands back towards the body. Fall off onto the right hip. And swing the left leg around, see if the left foot can set outside the right thigh. So you want to lift and lower the hips so they feel even. Wrap your right arm around your left leg. The fingertips behind you. Inhale, lifts the chest. Exhale will rotate us. You know, if you have more space, you can take that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. But if you're happy just giving it a hug, a little more of a lighter stretch. And a lighter twist. Inhale. Let it out. Come back through center. Counter twist to the opposite side, bend the elbows, we lower down. As we rise back up, we come back through downward facing dog, simply crossing the ankles, setting the hands down, and taking the feet back. Block handy. A little pedal out through the feet. This is the last time we'll be in downward facing dog, so any free movement you'd like to get out of the way, take it now. And then we breathe. Inhale. Let it out. Left leg rises as we breathe in. Foot is flexed. Hips are square. Exhale, pulls the knee through nose or forehead. We roll forward. Step the foot between the hands. Block outside the left foot. Drop the back heel. Come towards your warrior two. Lots of depth in the left leg. Lots of length in the right leg. Spread the arms out wide. Sink into the posture. Energetically, feet hug back in towards each other to feel the legs starting to activate. Take a breath. And as you work to straighten the front leg, keeping the quad engaged. So flexing, watching the left kneecap lift. Right hand finds the hip. Left arm rises. We breathe in. Then exhale, you reach forwards. As you do, right hip wraps in. You keep that quad flexing, keep leaning, leaning, leaning. And then left hand finds the block. You push against the block to rotate. Right arm up towards the ceiling. Find that space. Find that opening. Trying to lengthen left hand side of the body just as much as the right. One last breath here. And right hand's going to return to the hip. Bend through the left knee. You shimmy the back foot up a few paces and you transfer the block out in front of the left foot. Without jumping, we try and lean forwards. Take our time to lift the back leg off the mat. You flex the foot and rotate left hip open. Right hip stacks on top. Right shoulder wraps on top of left. And then we work to reach the right arm up. Keep your gaze steady and fixed. Embrace the shakes as always, embrace the wiggles. And if there's space, you squeeze right heel in towards the bottom. See if you can catch hold of the ankle. If it's there, you bow, open the body as much as you can to feel that space at the front body. Take a full breath in. Stay for the exhale. And then keep hold of the ankle. You try and bring the right knee in towards the nose or the forehead. Compress, compress, compress. And then release. Shake everything out. Let some movement start to return to the body. And then we roll our way up through standing, preparing for that standing balance here on the opposite side. And again, if you've practiced with me over the last week or two, I've mentioned I'm struggling with a hamstring injury, so on this side I'm going to grab the knee rather than reach down and catch hold of the big toe. Either way, you're standing on the right foot, finding your focal point. The left knee will draw in towards the chest. So maybe you're catching big toe with first two fingers, or maybe you're catching the knee if you're taking the bent knee variation. Wherever you are, leg opens to the left, arm opens to the right. You lock onto that sensation of Tadasana, right foot presses down to lift the chest. Use the exhale to draw the front ribs in. Try to keep steady, keep focused. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the left knee back through center. Cross left ankle on right thigh. Reach the arms out in front of you and sit back into your chair. Gaze just off the top edge of the mat. Crown of the head reaches forwards. Keep the left foot flexing. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press to lift and shake it all out. Woo! Nice work. That's all the standing postures done. That's all the balancing done. Come back towards the top edge of the mat. And then we'll settle in. So on an inhale, lift the shoulders up really high. The exhale, sigh it out, drop the shoulders. We'll do that 2 more times. Let everything go. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, let it out. If you feel silly, don't worry, I'm doing this by myself in an empty room. Last inhale. Let it out. Then let the arms rise up high above your head as you breathe in. Exhale, folding over the thighs. Halfway lift as you breathe in, find length through the spine. And then step your right leg back long. Soften the back knee down and prepare for your pigeon pose. Left foot shuffles over towards the right edge of the mat. As the knee drops down, you close the angle of the left leg. Think more 45 rather than 90. Try to deliver the hips backwards and keep the hips square. If you needed support, much like I do on that hamstring, you could rest a block underneath the hip. Find your space. Allow yourself to rest. Breath is slowing down. We have that same grounding energy of the brow resting against the mat, the eyes softening. We can hear the breath a little more. Take another inhale. Let it out. And together we rise. If you have something supporting the hip, we remove it. We fall off onto the left hip. Swing the right leg around. Now, if we have practiced together often, you know I always mention that a block is handy. Apart from a yoga mat, a block is a fantastic yoga prop to have, and they're not always there to make the practice easier. If that's your fear, that's an ego thing. Sometimes we can get too attached. We think we don't need a block, right? Yes, you do. Everybody needs a block. 2 blocks. If you have them, they're absolutely essential, not just to make your practice more accessible, but even to make your practice more challenging. Left arm wraps around the right leg, right fingertips behind you. Inhale, lifts the chest. Exhale, rotates you. Remember, if you want more, you can take the left elbow to the outside of the thigh for more of a twist, or if you want to take a lighter option, you just grab hold, give it a little hug, and keep wrapping that right shoulder blade onto the back. Breathe in here. Take one last breath. Coming back through center. Little twist off to the opposite side. And then we'll stay on the bottom this time. Just extend the legs out long in front of you. Give them a shake. We're going to take one final forward fold here before we lower down. Final forward fold. Good use of alliteration. The intention is to rest ribcage on thighs, so if your hamstrings are tight, bend the knees, let the arms lift as you inhale, flex the feet towards you, and exhale to fold over the front of your thighs, letting the hands rest wherever they are, but keeping the feet active, toes pressing towards you. Crown of the head melts down. Lengthen the entire back line of the body, from the bottoms of the feet to the crown of the head, all the way from one end to the next. Take one last breath. Lift up through a seat. Take the feet out a little wider. Keep them active, toes flexing, quads engaged, arms reach out in front. We lower. Feel the low back land on the mat. If you can, pause and hover there for a moment. And then try to lower or roll down nice and slow. Preparing body for Shavasana. Shoulder blades hug back. Back of hands rest against the mat. Try to lose the tuck, or try to engage a little more tuck of the tailbone, lose the arch. Close the mouth down. Breathe gently. And allow yourself to melt into stillness. As always, my thanks for sharing your energy and sharing your time. I love so much being able to practice with so many different people, all over the world, all different times, that I'd never normally have the option to. So, from me to you, I mean it wholeheartedly with thanks. We share the practice together, but it's your personal journey as well. So thank yourself the most. I'll see you again soon. Peace.